He didn't just kill, he turned Buenos Aires into a hunting ground. It began with a smell. A thick, metallic scent that seeped from a crumbling apartment block on the outskirts of Buenos Aires. For weeks, neighbors had whispered about it, an odor so foul it clung to their clothes, their curtains, even their dreams. But no one dared to knock. No one dared to ask. On the night of July 14th, police received an anonymous call. The voice on the other end trembled. "You need to come now, there's something wrong, something dead." When officers arrived at the faded, graffiti-stained building, they climbed 3 flights of stairs to apartment 3B. The door was locked, but from inside, the smell was overwhelming. One officer gagged. Another pulled his shirt over his nose. With a swift kick, the door gave way. Inside, it was dark, curtains drawn, lights off, but the stench hit them like a wave. And then they saw them. Black garbage bags. Dozens of them. Stacked in the living room. Some were split open, leaking a thick red fluid onto the cracked tile floor. The bags weren't full of trash. They were full of human remains. The man standing in the center of the room didn't move when police flooded in. He was barefoot, wearing a stained white tank top and jeans that hung loose on his thin frame. In his right hand, a machete. Its blade still wet. His name was Luciano Velasco, 37 years old. But the tabloids would soon call him something else, the Machete Man. For weeks, Velasco had been stalking the streets of Buenos Aires at night. He targeted the invisible people, the homeless, the elderly, those no one would notice had disappeared. Investigators would later piece together the pattern. He would lure them with promises of food, warmth, or money. Bring them back to his apartment. And then the machete. The killings weren't quick. Velasco seemed to enjoy it. He would mutilate the bodies, dismember them, and wrap the parts in plastic before stuffing them into bags. Neighbors had heard things. A muffled scream. The sound of something heavy being dragged. The clanging of metal in the dead of night. But fear kept them silent. Police found more than just the remains. In the kitchen, there was a wooden table stained dark with old blood. In the bedroom, a set of knives, each meticulously sharpened, and a notebook. The notebook was filled with drawings, crude sketches of people with X over their eyes, next to each, a date. Some of the names matched missing person reports. On the last page was a chilling line written in jagged letters, "The streets are my market, the machete is my hand." The investigation revealed at least 9 victims over the past year, but detectives believe the number could be far higher. DNA from the remains in Velasco's apartment connected him to multiple open cases across Argentina, some dating back to years, and then there was the most disturbing find, a large chest freezer in the corner of the living room, sealed with duct tape. Inside were 3 severed heads, each perfectly preserved, their eyes still open. In court, Velasco was calm. When asked why he did it, he smiled faintly and said, "They were already dead inside. I just helped them finish." Family members of the victims wept. Openly in the gallery, one woman screamed and had to be restrained by security. The prosecution painted Velasco as a cold, calculated predator who thrived on fear and death. The defense tried to argue mental illness. But the sheer organization of his crimes told another story. This was no impulse. This was ritual. The trial lasted months. Each day, new details emerged, more names, more bodies, more horror, and yet Velasco never once expressed remorse. In the end, the jury took less than 3 hours to reach a verdict, guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced him to life in prison without parole, calling him one of the most dangerous men Argentina has ever known. Today, apartment 3B sits empty. The smell is gone. But the memory lingers. Neighbors still cross the street rather than walk past the building. And somewhere in the darkness of his cell, the Machete Man waits, not for freedom, not for forgiveness, but for the day when someone leaves the door unlocked again. Subscribe to True Crime Uncovered 1 to get more true crime stories. Don't forget to comment where you are streaming from.